me, child, pick your head up. I like to see your eyes when I speak to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And how are the children coming along with their French lessons?
They're very bright children, ma'am.
Head up! They're bright, you say? Well, why not? In mathematics? They're doing well in mathematics, I assume.
Yes, ma'am. Especially Vanya.
Certainly, I knew it. I excelled in mathematics. Oh, he gets that from his mother, wouldn't you say?
Yes, ma'am.
Head up! That's it. Don't be afraid to look people in the eyes, my dear. If you think of yourself as inferior, that's exactly how people will treat you.
Yes, ma'am.
Quiet girl, aren't you? Now then, let's discuss your accounts. I imagine you must need money, but you never asked me for it yourself. Let's see now. We agreed on 30 rubles a month, correct?
40, ma'am.
No, 30! I made a note of it. I always pay my governesses 30. Who told you 40?
You did, ma'am. I spoke to no one else concerning money.
Impossible! Maybe you thought you heard 40 when I actually said 30. If you kept your head up, things like this would never happen. Look at me again and I'll say it clearly. 30 rubles a month.
Yes, ma'am.
Settled. 30 a month it is. Now then, you've been here 2 months exactly.
2 months and 5 days.
No, 2 months exactly. I made a note of it. You really should keep books the way I do so there wouldn't be any of these discrepancies. So, we have 2 months at 30 rubles a month. Comes to 60 rubles, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Subtract 9 Sundays. We did agree to subtract Sundays, didn't we?
No, ma'am.
Eyes. Certainly we did. I've always subtracted Sundays. I didn't bother making a note of it because I always do it. Don't you recall when I said we would subtract Sundays?
No, ma'am.
Hey,
No, ma'am.
you weren't thinking. Your eyes were wandering. Look straight in my face and look hard. Do you remember now?
Yes.
I didn't hear you, Julia.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So, plus that, plus 3 holidays, correct?
2, ma'am. Christmas and New Year's.
And your birthday, that's 3.
I worked on my birthday, ma'am.
You did? There was no need to. My governesses never worked on their birthdays.
But I did work, ma'am.
That's not the question, Julia. We're discussing financial matters now. I will, however, only count 2 holidays if you insist. Do you insist?
I did work, ma'am.
Then you do insist.
No, ma'am.
Very well, that's 3 holidays, so therefore we take off 12 rubles. Now then, 4 days, little Koila was sick, and there were no lessons.
But I gave lessons to Vanya.
True, but I engaged you to teach 2 children, not 1. Shall I pay you in full for doing only half the work?
No, ma'am.
So we'll deduct it. Now then, 3 days you had a toothache, and my husband gave you permission not to work after lunch, correct?
After 4. I worked until 4.
I have here. Did not work after lunch. We have 4. We have lunch at 1 and are done at 2, not 4, correct?
Yes, ma'am. But
That's another 7 rubles. 7 and 12 is 19. You take that away, and, yes. January the 2nd, you broke a teacup and a saucer. Is that true?
Just the saucer, ma'am.
What good is a teacup without a saucer? 2 rubles. Let me see. January 14th, Koila climbed a tree and tore his jacket.
I forbid him to do so, ma'am.
But he didn't listen, did he? 10 rubles. And January the 15th, Vanya's shoes were stolen.
By the maid, ma'am. You discharged her yourself.
But you get paid good money to watch everything that goes on here, Julia. I explained that to you in our first meeting. Perhaps you weren't listening. Were you listening that day, Julia, or was your head in the clouds?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, your head was in the clouds?
No, ma'am. I was listening.
Good girl. So that means another 5 rubles off. Yes. The 16th of January, I gave you 10 rubles.
You didn't.
But I made a note of it. Why would I make a note of it if I did not give it to you?
I don't know, ma'am.
That's not a satisfactory answer, Julia. Why on earth would I make a note of giving you 10 rubles if I did not in fact give it to you? No answer? Then I must have given it to you, mustn't I?
If you say so, ma'am.
Well, certainly I would say so. That's the point of these little talks, to clear these matters up. So then, you take 3 more, and then you take away the 10 from the jacket, and that leaves 14 rubles, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What's this? Tears. Are you crying? Has something happened, Julia? Please tell me. What has upset you? I'm so sensitive to tears. What is it?
Oh, only once since I've been here have I ever been given any rubles by your husband. On my birthday, he gave me
have been my book. Well, I'll put it down now. There we go, 3 rubles. Thank you for telling me. Sometimes I'm a little lax with my accounts. I'm always shortchanging myself. So then, we take 3 more from 14. That leaves 11 rubles. Do you wish to check my figures?
There's no need to, ma'am.
Well, here's your salary for 2 months, dear. 11 rubles. Oh dear, I seem to have misplaced the rubles. Well, I'm very sorry, Julia. We'll have to wait till next month for your payment. So we'll have to deduct 20 more rubles from that as well.
Thank you, ma'am. You're very kind, ma'am.